Denzel Ward, guys, was officially diagnosed with his 5th concussion. Kevin Stefanski confirmed that news yesterday. Tyvis, when you were on the show last week when he was still in protocol, you mentioned that you knew 2 different players that you played with that had their 6th concussion be the cutoff number in terms of when teams asked them to go away. With Denzel at 5 now, I just got to ask it. Can the Browns truly count on Denzel this season? Or anything you get from Denzel at this point, is that just a luxury and an added bonus to this defensive secondary because he's one routine play away from potentially having his career end at just 27 years old?
First of all, I want to say that I'm truly torn on the fact that a guy that's that talented, that's been that impactful to a defense, that guy that's been such a staple to not just the Browns but all of Ohio. I mean, he's living the dream of every Cleveland kid dreamed of, and it's unfortunate that he has to deal with these things, because what scares me is how he's going to be impacted later in life. You see so many different studies and all of this stuff about CTE and all of those things, and he's such a nice dude. Like, he's genuinely a really good dude, and I just really hope that this stuff don't affect him mentally and he falls off a cliff later in life. So that part scares me. But as far as this season goes, listen, he's young and he wants to play, so it's not like they're not going to let him play, and I joked about the Guardian cap the last time I was on here when we talked about it, but he has to wear it. Like, it might not look cool, but you got to do everything you can to be protected, because I understand in this moment all you thinking about is, we got a Super Bowl roster. We got a chance to win it all this year, and I want to be a part of that. But you got to think bigger than that. And it's hard to do when you're in the thick of it, because I remember being in your shoes. I would have been like, I don't care if I get the 6th concussion. I'm still going back out there. I play with the concussion because I was just crazy like that. And I get that that's where you want to be. But to answer your question, I mean, you can count on him. It's just when it's the way he's getting concussions. Like, is these concussions coming from boom, smacking somebody and then getting it? Or is it, I bumped into somebody and now I got a concussion? That's when it gets scary. Like, when it's not a ton of physical things there and you still getting a concussion, that's when you're like, all right, it's time to hang this thing up. So I can't remember, how did you say he got this 5th one in practice?
This most recent one, he was jostling with Elijah Moore on a one-on-one drill. He deflected the pass essentially, and they just fell to the ground. It wasn't a hit. It wasn't a gruesome
See, that's what's scary. That's what's scary about the whole thing, because that's something that you're going to do multiple times over the course of a season. You're going to go for a ball, and you're going to lay out, try to make a play on the ball, you're going to fall to the ground, and I don't want that to be your last concussion to where you can't play. So I think that, I don't know if you can count on him for 17 games. I know that that's always been a thing with him anyways, is that he always got hurt, but if it's that delicate, I mean, it's definitely one of those things he's definitely got to sit down and take seriously, because, like I said, that 6th one come, it's going to be hard for somebody to say, we trust you to still go out there and play football, this physical game. So you got to think about the bigger picture. All I would say is, you did a good job of getting Martin Emerson ready for this season. Greg Newsome is playing for a contract after this, so he's going to be extremely motivated. And if you're not able to play this season, or if you're able to play sparingly this season, don't worry. The Cleveland Browns still are in good hands, and that's because of the work that you put in this offseason getting Martin Emerson ready. And just you being around there and still being a coach and still helping guys out, help the next generation, help the Cam Mitchells, help the Miles Hardens. You can still play a big part of this. But I do think you might need to think about a little bit on them reps. Maybe a couple reps a game, something like that. If you feel good, go out there. But I don't want you to sustain that 6th concussion and that be the end of your career, because I still think, to me, you should – I thought you was a top 5 corner in this league, but it's like the world never really gave you that respect. And I know right now you feel like I'm there. You got the confidence. You playing with so much swag. You can defend anybody in the league. And it just sucks that this is a dark cloud that's hanging over your head. So just be smart about it. Just be smart. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Jason? I don't know that there's a magic number. I think it's different for everybody of how many is too many. But when you have them close together, that's really bad.
It's been 3 in 34 months.
Yeah, and it's more like 2 and 3 in one season is I would like the Tua situation.
Yeah.
That's when. But here's where the thing that really concerns me: how do we know it's 5?
Right.
I
That's
mean,
the 5 that we know of.
That's the 5
Yeah.
you know of. What about Nordonia? What about Ohio State? What about when he was a kid? I've had 3 really bad concussions. I never played at Ohio State. Or
I told you the first question I asked my two ex-teammates was, how many concussions did you have before you was done? The first question is how many known documented concussions?
Right.
So he said documented is 6, but it was probably more than that. So
And so for him, that's 5 in the NFL, but he had a lot of life before he ever made it to the NFL. So we keep saying.
There's no way he went 8 years, or how many years did he play at Ohio State? 3?
yeah.
I mean, could he have played 4 years in high school and 3 years at Ohio State and never gotten a concussion? I find that
He could have.
unlikely.
I mean, he could,
Possible.
yeah.
Middle
Let's not
school.
say it's impossible. He certainly could.
Middle school.
I didn't say it was impossible. I said it's not likely.
I had one in elementary school, one in
Yeah.
college, and one a couple years ago.
Right.
And that's just living everyday life.
Yes.
So, and that's the part where you hope that it's like when they take helmets from guys on the sideline. Sometimes you have to protect the player from himself. And we're getting very dangerously to that point with him where, Tyvis, you're right. It's not, he may feel fine now. It's 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
Right.
What's his life going to be?
We've seen so many
Absolutely.
examples of guys.
And when you're young, when you're his age, you think you're bulletproof. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I was in my 20s, like jumping out of planes. Like, nothing's going to hurt me. Nothing's going to stop me until you get older in life and you start to figure this out. So I'm very concerned about Denzel just because of the 5 that we know of, but there could easily be more than that we are not even talking about.
So you guys have hit on the personal stuff for Denzel. I agree with everything you said. Let me look at it from a football perspective for the Browns. Obviously not as important as Denzel Ward's life. But from a football perspective, this is a huge deal to me. Because Denzel Ward, in my opinion, is the second most important player on their defense behind Myles Garrett. We saw what the secondary looked like when Denzel didn't play last year. It wasn't that good. Denzel is a special talent. I think he's the most underrated player on the Browns, and I don't even think it's close. He is a true cornerback 1.
Yeah.
You know? And I've said this once, I'll say it a million times. All you need to look at with Denzel Ward is how's he done against Jamar Chase. And I watch Jamar Chase play every week, and the only cornerback I've seen shut him down is Denzel Ward. And he's done it more than once. So that tells me all I need to know. I can't even remember if he's played against Justin Jefferson. Did they play both?
Yeah, they were at Minnesota. I don't know if I can't remember if he played.
Yeah.
They were at Minnesota
so maybe
a couple
once.
years ago.
But he plays Jamar Chase twice a year when they're both healthy. So he's played him a number of times. That stands out the most to me. Martin Emerson's a really nice corner. Greg Newsome's a solid third corner. But Martin Emerson is an excellent cornerback too. He's not a 1. He might be at some point. Maybe he is one of the 30 best corners, but he's not as good as Denzel Ward. So you're moving everybody up a slot at that position. And when you're trying to be the best defense in the NFL, if you now, for all we know, Denzel Ward could end up playing 17 games this year for the first time ever, and he's totally fine. But it does feel like he may be one concussion away, because the fact that this one happened on a nothing play, as you said before, Tyvis, that makes me concerned that it's like every play you're worried he's going to get a concussion. How could you not be thinking about that? How could he not be thinking about that? And if they do lose him for a significant amount of time, I think it's a huge deal for the secondary. I think it's a big downgrade because you're moving everybody up a slot. So cornerback 1, not as good. Cornerback 2, not as good. Cornerback 3, not as good. It's a big deal if it happens. Again, he's got to take care of himself.
Yeah, I hope.
I don't say this to be callous about the personal stuff for him. You guys talked about it eloquently. We all love Denzel Ward. We want him to be healthy. We want him to have a good life after football. But from a football perspective, if he doesn't play, if he misses a lot of time this year, that's a big problem. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying that their defense is going to be bad. It's just I can't see them being the best defense in football without Denzel Ward. Yeah.
And he's so crucial to what they do, too, because they like to not blitz. They want to play man single high safety, get after you with 4, and they're great at it. Miles, Adarius, the interior pass rush. But you can do that because you can hold up in the secondary because you have Denzel, who's a legit number 1 corner. Emerson, who's an emerging corner, and Newsome's one of the best slot corners. When you slide those over to your point bowl, it's a lot harder to lock those guys down, and then you have to bring extra guys to generate that pressure. It has a direct impact on the entire defense if he's not in the field.
100%.
And that'd be a giant loss if he, for whatever reason, and we're obviously hoping
Yeah.
it's not a long-term thing. And Tyvis, I know you said the magic number in the 2 cases you talked to was 6. I just hope we never have to get to 6 with Denzel. I hope this is the last time we ever have to talk about Denzel Ward, concussions, protocol, all that stuff for his own personal life.
Right.
But also for the sanctity and the ceiling of the Browns defense.
But the reality is, like, who thinks he's not going to get another concussion? I mean, I would, if I had to bet all my money, will Denzel Ward get another concussion or not? Sadly, I'm going to bet he's going to get one.
Yeah.
And it's only because of how he just got this one.
Right. That's
like
the big red
if
flag.
If you would have said that him and somebody collided head to head,
right?
And he had a story. I'd be like, all right, he can come back. But the fact that you just went for a ball and just fell. Like, did his head like hit the ground? Like, I didn't know more too.
It's on YouTube, so I can't put it through tag board, but I'll text it to you guys, and you guys can watch it real quick in live time. Give me 1 second, I'll send you the clip.
They've done enough studies that once you have one, you're more susceptible to another, and then another, and then another. And clearly he's at that point.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And it's
and how many times has he been in the protocol and then cleared without?
Twice. In the NFL. Twice in the NFL.
Yeah, where because I remember having that conversation last year of, Denzel's back in protocol.
Right.
And then they cleared him and said, no, it wasn't concussion. But still, it was something serious enough to at least have to examine him.
I know Steve.
All you guys, check your phone. I just sent you the clip.
Okay.
I apologize to the YouTube audience out there. We can't play it because it's through YouTube. But you guys can get live reaction to watching the play that Denzel suffered this concussion on.
Steve Becker should be happy they got Jahan Dotson from the the Commanders.
Wait a second.
You see the play?
I'm seeing it. Does his helmet?
I'm waiting on mine to play.
It looks like his helmet might have hit the ground.
More kind of falls on him. His head. It looks like.
Yeah, but it's not like a head-on
but
collision.
There's certainly a lot nastier plays than that every week.
Yeah, it's a little hard to tell exactly what happened.
I'm going to put that link in the chat for anyone who wants to see it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that link in the chat for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, the back of his head hits the ground and he land, and Elijah land on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean that. At least that. When he actually went down, he kind of like snapped it and kind of hit the ground. Pretty. So all right, that makes me feel better, because remember I told you. When
that happens every game, Ty.
Yeah, that's a routine play.
No, not necessarily like that. Not with that much force. I told you, I thought I rung my bell a little bit when I hit this dude and I smacked my head on the turf, and I felt I was ringing a little bit. So I can get why that.
Yeah, it's not a nothing play.
I agree. It's not nothing
head to head.
But it's not something that like if he goes for a routine and like goes like this and lands in front of, like, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like as long as he keep his head out of it.
I guess nothing burger is in. That could happen on any play in any
could.
situation.
It could.
Like, that's not something that he.
That's not.
He didn't put himself in a bad position to get hurt. That's just a routine football play that ended up with him hitting his head on the turf.
That's true.
Yeah. See, I thought like he was going to make a play, or like he just kind of like fell to the ground. Like I didn't know the back of his head like hit the ground. Like that's.
It's a little hard. He's a little blocked by.
And on top of that, I think if you get hit in the back of the head, that's like the worst way to get one.
But
so
you would think that he would wear the.
He had it on.
Guard. Oh, he did have it on.
He did have it on for that play too, which also does not help the.
It's not a miracle cure.
No.
It's your brain being jostled around within your head. So nothing can stop that completely. There's no equipment that can completely stop that from happening. So, all right, Mike.